Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Shield Wall Podcast. Sergeant Jones, I'm Gillum. This is the Dirty Dozen episode 12. We need you all to help us out to expand the platform and YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. And today is an exciting day because we have our first guest from the Navy. Hey, what's going on? You want to introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
I'm Keena. I am currently active duty Navy. I've been in the Navy for 6 years in February now. I'm a Master at Arms, which is Navy talk for military police.
Yeah, that's awesome. And if, like I was just asking, your husband's a military police as well, right?
He is. Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious, what made you go the military police route?
Well, I've always wanted to join the Navy. I took criminal justice in high school, and then I went into college and did my criminal justice degree. And I just took it from there. I just wanted to be in law enforcement, and so that's just what I signed up to do.
So did you get the degree before you joined the military?
I did. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
What made
And
you go enlisted? Are you enlisted? I should say. I should have asked
I
in
am.
the first.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever just decide to go to maybe officer, or you just decided to go enlisted, or?
I tried officer. I didn't make the test. And so I had an enlistment bonus when I signed up. So I just took the enlistment bonus and ran with it.
And with the 4-year degree, I'm sure you got to start at a higher enlisted rank too.
Yeah, I started out as an E3.
Nice. What made you choose the Navy? Just curious, of all the branches.
It's a family thing. My
Nice.
father's been in the Navy.
there
Got to
you
keep the
go.
Yeah.
tradition going.
And how do you like it so far? I mean, 6 years, you have to like it a little bit.
A little bit. I like the camaraderie. I like, the people that I work with. I don't know about the military per se.
That's fair. So are you planning on getting out and just kind of going the police route?
Yeah, I want to do like federal law enforcement after I get out.
Okay. How much longer you got left?
A little over a year.
Oh, coming up soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's exciting.
What federal law enforcement are you considering?
Like FBI, federal law enforcement.
Nice. That's kind of
Yeah.
exciting. Is it
So-
kind of? I knew one person. He wanted to go SWAT, and like some of those they like you to have like 4 to 6 years experience in the military, and then it's easily translatable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kind of the same thing.
Yeah. It looks nice on a resume kind of thing.
Nice.
So are you on a naval base or is it a Marine base?
It is a Navy submarine base.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered, do the Marines stay there with you on base?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And do you have jurisdiction over both so you could like arrest anyone on post?
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
Since we brought up the Marines, and this is just me being dumb Gilly question. Do the Marines guard the ships, or the military master at arms in charge of securing the ships?
They work with us sometimes. Like on this base, they work with us. But that's not always the case. On like a regular carrier or something like that, it's just MAs that are guarding the ship.
So you're in charge of the security of the ship as well as the law enforcement role too, as well.
Kind of like the outside of the ship, like making sure no one's getting in restricted areas that aren't allowed to be there.
Okay.
So who patrols at night? Like someone's on the ship. Is that you all?
Yeah, we do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious. So the Marines have a military police element as well, and that's why they work with you?
Yeah, they call themselves the Marine Corps Security Force. So they have like their own side of the security force that do their own thing. Yeah, this base in particular is just combined because of the high level of security that this base requires, because we have like big nuclear warship ships on this base. Submarines, I should say.
Absolutely.
And do you do joint I guess exercises together, so train together and everything? You don't go your own separate ways?
Yeah, we train together. Yeah,
Oh,
with
that's
command
cool.
leaders. Yeah.
I was curious too. Does it work the same when you deploy out to sea? Are
Hmm.
you, is it a deployment for you, or are you also, walking around the ship and making sure everybody's doing the right thing and policing the ship?
Yeah, when we go out on ships, it's just MAs. But yeah, that's a deployment for us because we don't like go. The only people that really go to like Iraq and Afghanistan, like y'all, that's just like spec ops.
Oh,
So
okay. I
Or
didn't
yeah,
know that.
EOD, right? Navy EOD goes there too.
yeah, they do. Hmm.
So when you're on a boat, it's nothing but MAs on that boat?
No, there's other people that do with different jobs.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But like as far as security detail, it's just MAs.
And have you deployed?
I have not.
I was just going to see if you've been at the same duty station for the last 6 years.
No, so I was in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. You're okay. You're okay. I was in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and then I was in San Diego, and then I was here.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
And you're in
What's
Seattle
been,
now, right?
Bremerton, yeah, Silverdale area.
Oh, awesome.
what's been your favorite duty station so far?
I really like San Diego. San Diego's nice weather.
Oh, I bet. I bet it's really nice down there.
Mm-hmm.
In San Diego,
And
you
then,
probably had a lot of interaction with the Marines down there too, because they got Camp Pendleton down there.
Yeah, kind of like we went and did like our 240 shoot. Like we have to go on Camp Pendleton's base in order to do that because Camp Pendleton's so big, and they have just like in a ridiculous amount of land for nothing. So they can just go and like blow shit up for no reason.
Hell yeah! Now you just spoke some of our language. You have to qualify on a 240 Bravo.
Mhm.
Nice.
Mhm.
What all weapon systems do you all have to qualify on?
Just a 240. They just switched to the M18 instead of an M9, and then a shotgun and a rifle. That's all we got to qualify on.
okay,
And
so you don't have,
M18,
Hmm?
M18's the Sig Sauer, right? They switched over
They
from the
did
Beretta M9. Okay.
from the Bretta, yeah.
that's pretty cool. So is that what you carry? Is that your service pistol?
Yeah.
Which one do you like better?
I like the Beretta better.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? The trigger? What do you like better about it?
I think I'm just more used to the Beretta, and I can just qualify better on that one versus the Sig. I don't know. I just feel like
The
it's a
new
little bit
sights on
harder.
it or something? It just doesn't. It's just not the same.
Yeah, it's not. And there's no like safety on it either. So you
Hmm.
just kind of pull out and kind of shoot kind of thing. So I always forget about that part. So when you know what
This
I'm
is your
calling.
safety, though. Yeah, it's weird. Like different handguns. Like I grew up shooting a little bit as a kid or a teenager, but mainly with the rifle. Now that I have a more experience with a handgun, it's weird how there's just different ones are just you have different like styles or
Hmm.
the sights are a little bit different, the triggers a little different. Personally, I really like. I don't know why the Springfield's triggers, all those are just they just I don't know. We just mesh together. But the Six Sauer is pretty sick. I don't know. I like the way it looks,
No, it
but
does look pretty cool.
yeah.
I
What
was
kind of?
curious.
Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Jones. Sir. Go ahead, Jones. Sir.
Oh, I was just going to change the subject a little bit. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just going to ask if you and your husband were the same rank.
No. I was an E3. We met at my first duty station. So I was an E3 and he was an E5
Okay.
when we met.
And just curious how the dynamics work on that. Like, are you both in the same unit at all, or are you just stationed at the same location?
No, so we're just both on this base, but we are not allowed to be in the same chain of command.
See, I didn't think so.
Mm-hmm.
And do y'all ever have, like, I would think that would cause a lot of problems outranking your spouse. Like, I feel like that would harbor a lot of fights in our household.
I would say healthy camaraderie. I wouldn't say fights.
Fair enough.
We implying tension? Is that what's going on?
No.
He outranks you outside of home, but at home you outrank him. Is that what you're telling me?
No, so I caught up to him as far as rank
Oh.
goes. I made E5 since I've been in, and he's
Okay, so you're the same rank now.
yeah. Now we're the same.
Oh, that's good.
Mhm.
And E5, like the Army, is the first NCO.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Sorry, what is it called? Petty officer or
We call it second class petty officer in the
second
Navy.
class petty officer? Okay.
Mhm.
I'm pretty familiar with a lot of your ranks, but not all of them. I don't have to memorize. I think my favorite rank, though, obviously, is Master Chief. That's the sickest rank in all the branches.
Is that like
Oh,
a
for sure.
Huh?
Is that like a Halo reference?
Not even. I mean, I have played Halo, but just to, I don't know. I like the way it sounds. Master Chief.
Mr. Chief.
Oof. I must have watched like a Navy SEAL movie one time, and the guy's like Master Chief, and I'm just like, "Ooh, yeah, it's sick."
So is he planning on staying in or getting out when you get out?
I think he's gonna stay in. He's got 13 years in now, so I think
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he's just gonna go for full send.
I'm assuming he probably had to sign indefinite at 10. That's usually what you have to do.
Kind of, sorta. They let you re-enlist, but you have to re-enlist at least at a minimum of 3 years, and then you can re-enlist for 10 years if you really want to, kind of thing.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the same for y'all.
I think ours is in def at 10. At 10, they ask you if you're going to stay in or get out, and then you decide from there.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
So has he deployed?
He has.
Let's talk about that. How is that your experience being a spouse while he was on deployment? How did that affect you? And
It was hard. For the first 2 years of our marriage, he was deployed. So I was in New Hampshire for the first deployment, and I couldn't meet him in San Diego for another year after. And then COVID happened, so then that made it even harder. And then he was on deployment with COVID, and so he was stuck in Guam for a month and couldn't go anywhere or do anything. And of course, he's on this beautiful island, and he's just stuck in a hotel room, and he can't do anything.
wait, they locked him down in a hotel room on the island?
Yeah.
Oh.
So he was on the Theodore Roosevelt, and the ship, people on the ship got COVID, and it gradually got worse. So they had everybody load off the ship. They docked at Guam, and they had everybody quarantined in the hotel room.
Okay. That's pretty rough.
I would have
Yeah.
been like, yo, do sharks get COVID? Let me hit this ocean up,
Right?
Don't lock me down in this hotel room. We can go snorkeling. Social distance in the ocean,
Yeah, right?
How long into your marriage was it before he deployed?
We were married in March. He was deployed at the end of April.
Oh, man, that's rough.
Yeah.
So married a month and then he was gone. Was it a whole 2 years before you saw him again?
No, we saw each other periodically, but we didn't really get to be in a home together and continuously see each other until after 2 years.
Well, I'm just curious. Was it out to sea or did he go to Afghanistan or?
No, he was out to sea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least that's not too bad. I'm assuming he didn't see too much combat out in the ocean.
No, it's not like y'all's deployments. It's just kind of sitting on a boat and floating in the middle of the ocean, and you just, kind of staring at each other.
What's the goal? Is it are you looking for pirates, maybe drug smugglers, people coming towards our borders? What's the goal of your deployment?
The Navy likes to have presence in certain areas of the ocean for so like places like China and things like that can just know that there's a presence out in the ocean.
Okay, so it's basically securing our borders, keeping someone out there, make sure nobody pushes in.
Right.
It's like
That
a
makes
show of
sense.
force, right? They say like a carrier group is larger than the air force of most countries. So
Mhm.
one carrier group can go out to sea, right? And Japan feels good knowing that one of our carrier groups is just sailing around its island or Thailand, right? We can be out
Yeah.
there and just kind of be
I didn't
there.
know they were that big.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure one carrier group has a larger air force than the whole Royal Air Force out of the United Kingdom. You might have to fact check me on that, but I think that's what I heard. Yeah.
yeah,
Even
because
if
they go out with everybody that's stationed on the carrier, and then they go out with squadrons, and then they also go out with at least another ship. So they're not out there alone. So it's at least another sub is out there with them, or a destroyer or something like that.
okay, and you keep your pistol and your M4 on you at all times while you're out at sea.
It's their pistol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Their M4 is kind of like if they're on the flight deck and they're just like got nothing going on, like there's no flight ops or anything kind of deal. Then they're just walking around with a pistol and an M4.
So y'all get to do a lot of training and movements with Air Force and Marines. It seems like all three of your branches do a lot of coalition training as opposed to the Army. We didn't ever really see anybody.
Oh, really? You guys don't do training with anybody else?
Well,
I
maybe a
never
little bit of
did.
the Air Force, a tad, but yeah, we don't
Like
really.
JTAC.
Yeah, JTAC. We had a JTAC, like the badass radio man for the Air Force.
But I don't think I ever saw anyone in the Navy or the Air Force while I was in, except for people driving the C-130s into country,
Yep.
things like that.
Or you'd see Air Force security forces. You'd see them around the kind of like the big fobs or whatever. And then I know at Manus, I saw all four branches though. I saw Manus Kyrgyzstan. I saw Marines, Air Force,
That's
Navy.
true.
But Marines, right? They were in RC West. They would go to RC West, Helmand Province. We were in the East, so we didn't really interact with them. So let's get into some fun stories. As a master at arms,
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen some things, and I mean like maybe some belligerent young seamens who got it too much to drink, you know?
Oh yeah, that's quite frequent. I've seen that more often than not.
Got any funny stories, omitting any names that you can share?
Actually, my funniest stories are with officers. Officers, or like they come in as 22-year-olds. They've done college or whatever, and they come in as commissioned, right? So they have this source of sense of entitlement. I don't know if you guys have had that kind of experience.
Oh, yeah.
So they think that they can be drunk and belligerent over enlisted, and that's not the case. Everybody is held to the same standard as they're supposed to be, right? So I've had an issue with, officers. They're like, well, I don't have to listen to you. You're just nobody. And I'm like, well, actually, you do. This badge means that you do.
And what happens with that? Do they just get a slap on the wrist? What's the escalation on that if they're not wanting to do what you're telling them to?
They get the same reprimand that we do. I can write them a ticket. I can tell them, just go back to your barracks room or whatever and cool off and go be drunk in your barracks room, kind of deal.
Yeah.
Now, do you have to call your officer in if that happens sometimes? Like, so they have an officer, master at arms, interacting with an officer, or?
I call my chain of command. Because I know that if they feel some type of way, then I know they're going to escalate it to whoever their chain of command is. You're okay. You're okay.
Shifting gears a little bit, since the baby is on camera, how is that working with you having to be a parent and an active duty military person? Like how is your your work with you on being a mother? How does that all work?
It's hard, just like working and being a parent. They actually changed the maternity policy this last year, so I got like 4 months off after I had her.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's not bad. That's a really
yeah,
good chunk of time.
yeah. It was really nice. So I didn't have to worry about daycare, or, where she's being taken care of, that kind of thing, and then I could recover too. Uh,
Right.
for after all that.
So I take it the military provides daycare services though for parents though.
Kind of. So it is provided, but I do pay for it.
Do they give you an allowance for it?
That's
Mm-mm.
what I was about to ask. If it was like your BAH, maybe it just comes out.
Yeah, so we have a BAH, but it doesn't just come out of there. I just go in and pay it, kind of like just a regular bill kind of thing.
But you get a higher BAH, right, for being a parent? You get a little bit more, or
Regularly, I would, but because we're mill to mill and he's had children before me, he's already getting that dependent BAH, so they don't give me dependent BAH.
That makes sense, I guess. So you don't both get the benefits? It's not like you won't get BAH from your service and he doesn't get it from his. They just kind of give you one or the other.
Yeah, so we both get single BAH because we're mill to mill.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's one way of doing it. It'd be kind of cool if you could trick the system and get
I know.
double.
We tried. I tried to get dependent BAH, and they were like, "No, because your husband already gets it. We can't give it to you."
Yeah,
I'm
that sucks.
like,
I bet it's good housing though out there in Seattle.
yeah, we live on base. They give us housing, and it's a nice house. It's a
That's
5 house.
Yeah, that was our favorite part of being married in the military, were the houses we got to get.
Yeah, the housing's nice.
so just pick your husband. Probably, obviously, he's been on a couple of deployments. What's his favorite ship he's been on so far? He's got to have a favorite ship.
I don't know. That's a good question. Because he was in a squadron before him and I met. And then I think that squadron was on the Reagan. I could be wrong.
That's
And
an
then he
aircraft
was
carrier, right?
correct.
Look
Yeah.
at me.
hmm
I was gonna say, I heard that the Navy on some of the bigger ships they have full on like you can do college courses on the ship.
Yeah.
Wow. Did your husband get his degree while in?
He's actually currently working on it. Yeah.
Nice,
He's working on his bachelor's in psychology.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Criminal justice and psychology.
Yeah, right.
That's a good combo. You got to have a police officer and a therapist for taking care of them after you catch them.
So are you guys gonna try to transfer to like what is it, Quantico, Virginia? Isn't that near where the FBI academy is?
It is. He has to do another sea duty. So after this duty station, I don't know. It's gonna be kind of hard because he might have to go out to sea. There's also some places overseas that count as sea duties. So we are slowly anticipating what that move is gonna be like for us.
I know Jesse'd be excited if you come out towards Virginia. Be right next to us.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I haven't seen y'all in a while.
That's
It's
a good
been
thing
a
about
long
the
time.
East Coast is kind of everything's pretty close, right? Everyone's kind of connected.
hmm
Oh yeah, it's Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio. They're all right there.
Yeah, my husband's from Massachusetts, so
Oh, nice.
yeah.
I was going to touch on being a woman in the military, kind of
Mhm.
your experience. And, I'm sure you and your husband talk all the time about what you're going through and how your experiences differ. Be
Mhm.
curious how you felt about being a woman in the military.
I think at first, my first like year or two being in, I found it really difficult just because there's just kind of that old style stigma that, oh, you're a woman, like you can't do it kind of thing. And, we've grown as a society to where that's not necessarily true. But it's still hard to combat a little bit that people think like, oh, you're a woman, so you can't carry a gun or you can't be an MA or, that kind of thing, that kind of authoritative thing.
Yeah. Do you
Um,
do a lot with that when you're arresting people or trying to, tell them what to do or what they can't do?
I've encountered it where people think that like, oh, like, should I be talking to you? And I'm like, who else would you be talking to? I don't know it. I know it. It's okay. I have encountered it, but I mean, after a while, it's just kind of like whatever. I've just learned that, if, as long as I get up and I do the same things that y'all do and I work just as hard as y'all do, I usually don't have a problem, you know.
Right.
Does it give you a chip on your shoulder when you're at the range qualifying?
When I'm shooting my N4 a little bit, I am awful with my rifle. Uh, so just a little bit.
Do you have to qualify the same amount of time on an M4 as a pistol, or do y'all usually go to the pistol range?
We usually do it in you usually do it in one shot. Usually the range is an all day thing and you're qualifying on your pistol, your rifle, and your shotgun.
Okay. That's kind of what we do too.
Yeah.
Question.
Hmm.
One, shotgun. What's the qualification like for that? We never got to go to a range for a shotgun qual. At least I didn't.
No, I didn't either.
Are
The
they pop up
shotgun
targets? Or are they? How does that work?
kind of. So the shotgun's kind of funny is in they set up like a I don't even know what you would call it. They put targets in different areas of the range. And you don't have to run, but you have to very quickly react and shoot the target. And you have to put so many holes in the target.
Is it pump action?
Hmm.
Nice. I bought a what is it? Remington 870, but the one with the magazine fed one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
12
um,
gauge?
12 gauge. Yep. I thought it was a cool idea, and I'm waiting. Apparently, well, they were gonna maybe come out with a drum magazine for it, and I was waiting for that. But then I found out they have this shotgun called the Panzer 12. It's got a drum roll magazine on it, and it's sick. Obviously, drum roll magazine, full auto shotgun, right? Kind of on my list, things. I feel like not having to reload with the shotgun's probably the best thing ever. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
multiple
that'd be
drum mag
nice.
magazines. Just drop that bad boy. Good to go.
You know what? I'll have to look into that. That sounds pretty cool.
Panzer 12 is what it's called.
Panzer 12. Okay.
Sick.
Yeah. Yeah, the shotgun we have, it's like 6 rounds. And I'm like, what am I going to do with 6 rounds if I'm in a firefight? Like, this is dumb.
Well, I'd imagine it would give you a little firepower at the very beginning. If you're like guarding a ship or whatever, and you got a shotgun, you can throw down 6 rounds, and then you can go to your sidearm. Because
Mm,
obviously, that's the one thing annoying. A shotgun, you're good for 6 rounds, but reloading that tube, right? That's just
yeah, that's a
Once you're
pain.
out, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
I
a
would I would think it'd only be for breaching and close quarters though. The M4 and the pistol should be most of your anything outside of 30 yards.
yeah. For whatever reason, when I was in San Diego, they had us carry the shotgun, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but okay.
Well, I mean, your interactions are probably a lot of close. Let's imagine, you're at you're at the gate, right?
Hmm.
And you're guarding a top secret nuclear silo, and you got the shotgun, right? Car pulls up and trying to get in. Well, your shotgun's going to stop that guy pretty quick.
I mean, yeah, you're
So
Especially
right.
if you have slugs in.
Oh, that'd be cool. They don't give us those, but that'd be
oh
awesome.
yeah. So my 870 DM, I got a cocktail round. I got a magazine in every other round. It's like a 6 round. It's three, right? I got buckshot, slug round, and then this other nasty round. I can't remember what it's called. It starts with an F, I think. And then I go every other. That way, everyone's just a little cocktail for them.
It's a
See,
surprise.
I alternate mine with birdshot and hog shot. The hog
Jeez.
shot's like 3 marbles.
Jesus Christ. Never remind me not to piss you off.
I've got, dude, I'll have to show it to you. I got a KSG in there, so it's a Keltec 12 gauge, but it holds 15 rounds. It's got
That's a
like
good
2
one.
tubes. Each one holds 7, and then 1 in the chamber.
Heck
It's pretty cool.
That
That's pretty
shotgun's sick.
Dude, it's awesome.
I do the same thing with handguns. I do a little cocktail. I go like Full Metal Jacket, and
Hollow
then
point.
hollow point, Full Metal Jacket, hollow point. You know. You never know. They might be wearing body armor, and first one break the body armor, second one
Yeah.
break the chest.
Yeah,
Who knows?
right. Yes,
I was curious too, getting ready to become a civilian police officer. What are some of the things you're kind of worried about that would be different as far as military and civilian side of being a federal agent or a police officer?
What I'm worried about my training. The military, as you guys kind of know, is very, very buttoned down, very structured. We have to follow a certain protocol, and everything's got to meet the wickets, and everything's got to, meet these, standards that they, some big guy in the big wig office writes, right? So I'm a little worried that I'm not going to be able to transfer out of my training when I go to civilian law enforcement, that I'm going to revert back to kind of what I've learned in the military.
I wouldn't think it'd be too much different. I mean, they're both kind of police oriented. I don't think it would be too crazy different.
I don't really know.
I'd imagine you'd have a lot of crossover because you'd have the law enforcement concepts, but then the FBI would be more like learning the federal laws and jurisdictions, what you can and can't do, and
Right, yeah.
the FBI is all about federal jurisdictions. You'd have to learn what they can and can't do, and it's funny. I remember I saw a reel one time. It was the funniest. It was one of the funniest interactions. It was this, I think it was a Las Vegas policeman, and he started kind of harassing this guy. And it turns out this guy was an FBI agent. And he's like, "Hey, I need you to come with me." And the FBI agent is like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "I'm on vacation. I don't really want to do this work, but if you want me to come with you." And the guy's like, "Get up." And he's like, "Hi." He's at a desk. He drops his napkin, and he's like, "I'm gonna reach into my suit jacket and pull out something. It's not a weapon, I promise." And he goes like this, and he's like, "You sure you want to do this?" And the cop's like, "Have a good day, sir." I was like, "Yeah, it's
Yeah.
But
So do you still read people their Miranda rights like a police officer would?
Technically, yes. So we have the 31 Bravo rights. Do you guys have
No,
31?
I'm not familiar.
It's the same thing. It's just not called Miranda rights, and it's worded different. So like, you have a right to, request, court martial or whatever kind of thing.
Okay.
Instead of, so it's kind of the same thing. I've never had to do it. It's usually once somebody's arrested and that charges are going to be filed against them.
So if you have someone come on to post that's a civilian causing problems, would you have to call the civilian police officers to come detain them? Or would you be able to detain them first?
if they're a civilian, usually I just call my chain of command to make a report about it, and then I'd call local law enforcement.
Okay. And they would just come on the post.
Yeah, they'd be like, okay, like you need to leave and never come back kind of thing.
now, do you all have to serve warrants for like we had, what was it called? CID, right? That was like, it's like the FBI or the detectives of the Army or whatever. They'd investigate different things. And then, of course, the MPs would then serve warrants for them. Do you have to serve warrants for your CID or whatever it's called?
We have NCIS.
NCIS. Oh, that's
Yeah.
a TV show.
It's not just a show. It's real. It's a real agency.
It all makes
I
sense.
did not know that.
Yeah.
So do you work hand in hand with the NCIS?
No. They're kind of like, we're better than you, you know? I mean, they are, and they do cooler shit. But no, they don't really work with us at all. If something like extreme happens, like a murder or a rape case or anything like that, we turn it over to NCIS, and then it's their case from then on.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're like the detective level of like law
Mhm.
enforcement, or
Yeah.
civilian law enforcement.
Mhm.
Once it goes to one of those major crimes, it goes up to them.
Yeah.
Now, did you and your husband ever want to like maybe try to go to that route, or is that easy? Is it hard to get into the NCIS, or did you ever just look into that or anything like that?
I've been looking into it. That's another one of my plans. If FBI doesn't work out, or we end up overseas or something like that, then I can probably go NCIS. Hopefully NCIS. So
How long is that school?
not sure. I think
Okay.
it's kind of one of those things you have to like fall into.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't know if it was kind of the equivalence of our Ranger school, but I guess that would be Navy SEALs for y'all, huh?
Yeah, that'd be SEALs. Mhm.
Buds
Yeah.
training.
Yeah.
Woods.
Do they incorporate a lot of like, this is going to sound dumb, but do they incorporate a lot of like water training into your basic training? Like a lot of swimming and stuff?
You do have to pass a swim test in boot camp.
Okay, so
And
that's
then,
cool. We didn't have to do that.
oh, well, yeah. I thought you were yelling. Yeah, so you do have to pass the swim test in boot camp, and then once you pass the swim test, then you kind of go into this combat sort of training after that. Like you have to like learn to, I shouldn't say learn, you have to show that you can float for like 5 minutes. And
Now,
like
are you in full kit?
you're in kind of like an overalls type like outfit, and then they throw you in the pool and they're like, okay, now float.
We did do some similar training to that on Fort Polk. I remember because we had a few privates that couldn't swim.
Mhm.
I'm trying to remember what we had what that consisted of. I know we had to get up on the diving board and we had a rubber weapon, our full kit, boots, everything, and you had to jump in and then get to the side of the pool after treading water for so long.
Yeah, I think that's something that Buds does actually. They have to like jump in the pool with like a full kit and everything, with like the boots on and everything, and those boots
Yeah.
are
That's what we were doing, but I can't remember why we had started doing it. I think we were just trying to be high speed at the time.
I know exactly why. Because our squad leader, whose name should be unmentioned, was obsessed with swimming. He wanted to do it every morning.
Yeah, well, see, I knew that. I knew he liked to do it every morning, but I thought for some reason they had some sort of training where we had to get certified for it. But I could be mistaken because I remember having to go to the side and work with a specific private for a couple of weeks before he could pass it. And I just cannot remember what the course was. I'll look into it.
It's probably ever since Normandy, right? When the Army had to do all those landings, they probably realized that they needed to incorporate some swimming in case the Army has to deal with that. Plus crossing rivers, all that stuff,
Yeah.
Well, the Navy makes sense. I was just wondering if they like waterboard y'all and stuff.
No.
See how you handle drowning. But you did get to go ahead, Gillum.
Oh no, go ahead, Jones. Go.
I was just going to ask. You got to get tased, huh?
No, we don't get tased. I get OC spray.
Really? Okay. So it's only the Army MPs that do the tasing each other. I thought all branches
we don't
did.
carry tasers.
No, not at all.
Pepper spray?
Pepper spray, yes. You do get
Okay,
OC.
so you got OC spray. Do you also do the gas chambers where you go into a full chamber?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Those are always a good time.
That's
10 out of
awful.
10 would recommend.
I actually have a picture to this story, but Jones, I don't know if you remember this, but when we were at Syedabad, we launched OC spray into a riot. Well, riot. There were some
Mm-hmm.
villagers that were upset, and the wind shifted direction, and our full strength OC spray then turned towards us, and we all got hit by it.
Oh,
Oh, I
And
remember.
yeah,
oh.
I've got a picture of a couple of us, and I think I was on guard tower duty that time, so I got hit with it hardest, and it's a lot different than the chamber. I guess they water it down in the chamber a little bit. That full strength stuff was
Little
spicy.
spicy.
It's brutal. I remember too, we had a NCO that thought it would be funny to hide CS cans behind the targets as we were shooting on a qual range. And boy,
Man,
that
we
was
were
brutal because this was in country too, so it's not like we were stateside. So we're in the middle of Afghanistan with everybody crying and vomiting everywhere.
Yeah, we used to play tricks on each other where, like, if you were relieve somebody off post, you just spray like the bottom of the floor real quick and be like, okay, bye. So then whoever you relieved is like, like dying in there.
Now, when you get OC sprayed, what does that look like? So they hold you, spray you in the eyes, and how long do you have to sit there for before you can wash it out?
So you have to go through a course, actually. So you have to demonstrate that you can fight off an assailant while you're OC sprayed.
I have seen that. So they spray you, and then some guy with a baton starts like lightly hitting you, correct? And you have
Yeah.
to subdue him.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I have seen those videos.
Yeah.
That
Do you
sounds like
think
a good time.
do you think that's like the most challenging part of your job that you've had to do, that kind of training? Because that seems pretty intense.
It is rough. Some people can't do it. Some people get OC sprayed and they're like, this shit sucks, I'm out. Um, Intense? Yeah, I'd say it's pretty intense.
What would
Give
you say is the most intense?
Um, hmm. I would have to say, we call it like, I'd say like weapons training and OC spray. I think that'd be the most intense.
See, mine was, if I had to pick, and I don't know why it stands out, in basic training, we had this tower that was 3 different levels up, and
Hmm.
you and 2 other soldiers had to climb up one side, handing up your weapons and pushing each other up over it, and then go down the other side by lowering each other. And it was, I mean, the tower was 3 stories. It wasn't small, but there was just something about being on that top level and trusting these 2 retards to catch me when I was coming down the other side. It was probably the worst experience I had in the military. I was terrified of climbing down.
You know, mine was kind of similar. I remember doing that. That was awful. And I also remember doing the tower and rappelling down.
Oh
And
yeah.
this is just me. When I got up to the top of that thing, right? You got your helmet on, and then you're supposed to, right, put your arm behind your back to stop, right? Well, I leaned back and started going down, and I don't know if I just didn't push it far enough, but I went upside down, and I was like, "Oh gosh, I'm gonna die! I'm gonna die!" My drill sergeant was right up the top there, and and I don't know how I somehow got myself straightened out, but like I figured, I was like, why am I not stopping? That scared the shit out of me. Yeah.
See, I think if I could go back in, I think Navy might would be the route I would go. And maybe even military police. That sounds like it'd be a nice career path. Naval MP.
The nice thing about being an MA is that you can go several different routes with it. You can go on a squadron, you can go on a ship, you can be at shore, you can also be a dog handler. So you can do several different things with
Do
it.
you get to pick those paths, or are they kind of given to you?
Yes and no. So I was kind of given harbor patrol. I had to qualify and learn how to drive a ship, but like those were the orders that I was given. I didn't get to pick that. But as far as like dog handler goes, you have to kind of like work towards dog handler, and you have
I'm
to like
sorry,
go
you said learn how to drive a what?
a boat.
Oh, so you drive the boats around?
It's a small craft boat. It's not like a carrier, like a destroyer or anything crazy. It's a small craft boat.
Is it
Still,
like a
that's pretty cool.
is it like a PT boat from Vietnam? That size, something like that, or is it even smaller?
Um,
See, I'm picturing the little inflatable boats that my GI Joes used to
no,
have.
like a little bigger than inflatable.
I'm just imagining one of those, PT boats from Vietnam, with the gun turret in the front.
Oh, with like 12 people in the back and the turret on top.
I think of like a decent sized fishing boat,
Okay.
And
not
do
like
you, and is it just two of you in it? One person driving and one kind of sitting in the passenger seat?
yep.
And are they the TC? Like they tell you where to go and what to do, and you just drive them around?
Kind of. So in the event something happens, we have a 240 on the boat, so they're your gunner.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So you have to not only have to secure the base, you got to secure the ships, and then you have someone out in the water securing the perimeter in the water too as well. Is
Yeah,
that what
like
I'm
the
getting?
perimeter. Yeah, the perimeter, like around the ships.
That's a challenging, that's a lot of stuff to cover. Like
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Yeah, how many of you is there? As far as not on the base, just in like a unit, like in your group.
In a unit, probably like 10 people, maybe.
Oh man, that's not as many as I was
But
thinking.
like harbor is separate from like land side. We call it land side, like the people that are like at gate and stuff. So
Oh,
they
okay.
work separately.
So your squadron, or is that what it calls? 'Cause we have like companies, battalions. Is you guys called a squadron? Or
Yeah.
okay. So your squadron then, if you're on the land side, you're in charge of securing the gates, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you have a harbor side, and they're like what on
Mhm.
the boat, and then on a giant ship, securing that as well as securing the perimeter, or does the ship have their own squadron?
The ship has like their own people
Okay.
on the ship. Hmm.
Okay. So then you have land, harbor, and then you have ship, their own squadrons. Everyone's kind of now. Do you all have radio frequencies to talk to each one another, or do you kind of stay separate?
So on harbor we have radio, so we can talk to the ships. And then we can hear landside. So if anything like is crazy popping off on landside, but we don't talk to landside like on a regular basis, kind of thing.
Now, have you ever had anything crazy happen on base, or is it usually just drunk soldiers? You don't. I mean, I just can't imagine anybody trying to get into one of our naval bases and actually cause harm. They've got to be protected to the utmost.
I haven't personally dealt with anything crazy, drunk people or people that like don't know where the f they're going, and they roll up to base and they're like, "Oh, I thought this was a toll," and I'm like, "What the hell?" It's like crazy shit like that, but not
Yeah.
like, I've never had to draw my weapon or anything like that crazy.
See, I've got buddies that are MPs, and I know the biggest thing on Army bases that I've heard is just spousal abuse. I mean, it's like the main thing they deal with.
Yeah, yeah,
Domestics
couple
and
of them.
DUIs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
That's so sad. But
I
that's
mean,
well.
yeah, that's the military world summed up in one sentence.
Domestics and DUI.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have this joke that you can't make chief, which is an E7. You can't make chief until you've gotten a DUI and a divorce. So
that's pretty accurate. So the divorce rate is just as high in the Navy as it is in the Army.
oh yeah.
I would imagine so. Now I'm thinking about it, going out to sea for long periods of time. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to end up the exact same.
Yeah.
Do spouses ever get to deploy together? I know you can't be in the same unit, but could you be on the same ship potentially, or no?
Because a ship has the same chain of command.
Ah,
Oh.
okay.
So, yeah.
Now, could you be in the same group though? So could one person be on a destroyer and the other person could be on the carrier in the same group, potentially?
So the Navy has thought about this.
Ah,
So if one person's on sea duty, the other person's got to be on shore duty, and vice versa.
That makes things difficult though. Because in your situation, how often do you get to see your husband if one of you's always on sea duty and the other's always on land duty?
It's hard.
oh.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Well,
I mean,
he was while he was out to sea. Yes, he was constantly, he'd be here for like a week and then he'd be gone again for like a month and then he'd come back and then it'd just be kind of this rotation over and over again. So it was super hard for a while.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's not going to be easy on anyone.
Mm-mm.
Do you think that is that kind of a factor of you wanting to maybe switch to civilian law enforcement? Is that a major factor for that?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's coming up quick though. Man, 1 year's going to fly by.
I know.
And if you have any questions when the time comes, hit us up. We've both
appreciate it.
transitioned out, and there's lots of things that'll help you if you just reach out to a couple people and find out everything you can about the VA process and the college process and all of that good stuff.
I will
appreciate
say
it.
one thing too. The best piece of advice I could offer is claim everything injured. There used to be this stigma that people didn't want to claim anything because they thought they'd be like, taking advantage or
Shunned.
something.
Mhm.
Shunned. But here's what I was told. This is when I was getting out. This lady, she's told me the U.S. Congress has set aside money for every single veteran to get up to 100%. So the money's there. So when veterans don't claim injuries or, people are getting out, don't claim something that the military caused, they're actually letting that money go to waste because then they just, you're not going to use
Pocket
it?
it.
We're going to put it somewhere else. So they do that. So when you're not claiming something that's a legit injury from the military, and it's everything. And it changed my perspective because, like, really, you served your country and your body in some way and form. Everyone in the military, no matter what they do, takes some kind of beating on their body. And every part of that, you deserve to get paid for that because you sacrificed your life. So I just want to say, make sure that they don't try to guilt trip you into not claiming anything that you have because you earned that and you deserve that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. The more you know.
The more you know.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with stuff like that, man. That, like he said, it's a huge stigma where they try and belittle people for trying to get their benefits or anything to do with getting out of the military. Everybody's always trying to downplay the injuries. If you got hurt, you got hurt.
Yeah, like I can't hear as well as I used to. I think just like all those years of just shooting guns. And I was like, yeah, I have this like ringing in my ear. My husband's like, what? Like he can't hear either. Like he can't hear out of his left side. Like
claim. Yeah, there's a claim right there. Yeah, like my right ear, because I'm a right-handed shooter. And that's probably the same with you all's. Everyone has their whatever side they shoot on, right? That ear is probably affected the most. And it used to affect me so much if I was going on like on a date, because like I'm the driver, right? I'm in the left side, and the girl's right. I'm like, "What'd you say?" She's like, "You don't listen, do you?" And I'm like,
I can't hear.
"Tried." Well, I'm not paying for the bill, then, you jerk.
What'd you say?
I'm walking out. Well, it's been a pretty good, informative episode. I really appreciate you coming on. I'm really excited because we were talking about we want to hear from other branches of the military. We finally got to hear from someone in the Air Force, and now you are first Navy. So it's really cool because I'm just curious. I'm always curious about how the other branches work. So I really appreciate you coming on. Jones, you got any words to spill?
No, it was great getting to see you again, and hopefully we get to see you soon. And I really appreciate you coming on to the episode.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
I'm here for any questions.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not to put you on the spot, but if you were offering any type of advice to someone who may be joining the military, especially the Navy, what would you offer
Mhm.
them?
Anybody joining the military, especially Navy. Um, I prepared myself physically before I went into boot camp. And so that's something that I would offer to somebody that was going in the Navy. I prepare yourself physically and make sure you can swim, because you'd be surprised how many people in the Navy don't know how to swim.
Like, I request shore duty at all times, please.
How
Well,
embarrassing would that story be for you to drown in the Navy? The
in the
whole
ocean.
world sees it. Yeah.
And training in the lake. You're training in the lake.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's time to pop smoke. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. Y'all have a good day. Good weekend.
You guys
you
do.
Bye.
Bye.